All right. So let me see the Klinkhammer. I'll tie it and I'll show a couple different versions I've been doing. I'll swap video to the different camera real soon after kind of showing a couple. When I first started tying, I was doing a couple easy ones and then looking into ones that interested me, and something with the Klinkhammer. I just liked the way it looked, and so I was trying hard on that. I like that there's so many different variations you could do to it, the body, the hackle, and I'll show you a couple different things that I've learned to make it a little bit easier. I'm definitely going to do it with my arm kind of still not 100%. I don't know if you want to call it the cheater way on the whip finish, but I'll show you that. So I'm going to first pin myself so I could make sure I'm seeing what you guys are seeing. And then I'm going to swap my camera over. Okay. So let me see a couple of them. This is one of them that I started tying. Let me bring it a little bit closer to me. This was very similar to the pattern that I was doing to submit for the fly tying. I messed up on this one because at the very bottom, forgot to put the peacock dubbing hurl underneath it, but still look kind of neat, so I kept it, didn't dump it. So I'll pretty much go over this. This one was kind of neat to see because with the hackle I was using, it had a kind of darker base, and you can kind of see that on the post. So that was kind of neat. For the post, I'll go through all the materials, but this is a normal like Antron material that you'll see. You could also use, and I've tried a couple with, this is just like a foam post. So if you seal this with watershed, this would float all day. This is one of the earlier ones that I was doing.
What size hooks?
I'll get through those two, but normal about 12 is what I use. You'd go to 10. If you want to try to go a little bit smaller, you could go to 14. I'll show you the three different kinds that I've used and tell you which one that I've used for the fly competition. This was another one of them from that I was trying. It was a thicker body and I wasn't really happy with it, so I scrapped that idea. But again, you can kind of see there's dubbing for the body and thorax on that. So that was a different style. One of the things I like doing is using a quill. And I don't know if it's kind of hard to see it. Let's see if I could catch the light, but this was with a quill body. And I used just the white post on this, and then black ice dubbing and black and white hurl on that. I got two left to show. This is one of them that I will be turning in for pictures. So this one, you can kind of see the green dubbing on the bottom, but made the body a little bit thinner. Really kind of hard to see at the very bottom. I put a little bit of a pink hot spot. That was just every time I talked to Ben Haven out in Bennett, he always said pink was the best hot spot that he's ever heard of using. So try to add that as a little technical difficulty, and then also used orange and white parapost, kind of change it up a little bit, make it a little bit show a little bit more of a complicated pattern. So that's what I've got 6 of these right now, and then eventually I'll find a good camera and we'll pick the best of the and start taking photos. As I said, I started tying these probably about almost a year and a half ago. We got Mike showing up. So this one's kind of like my favorite Klinkhammer that I did. Believe it or not, this one's been sitting in my truck for about 18 months. I've had this in my truck in this little container for 18 months. This was going to be the fly I donated for our little competition that we had when we were in person, where we were all submitting a fly and then we all marked which one.
Me myself.
What's that? So this was the one that I was going to submit 18 months ago, but since we never had it, it's been sitting in my truck for that whole time. So I knew it was in there and I look at it from time to time, but I didn't want to fish it. And someday, hopefully we'll get back to that and I'll submit it. So, all right. So that's just a little description on some of the different Klinkhammers. And now I'll go through each of them, or all the steps. I'm going to bring in my vise. Okay, so the hook you see now, I know Terry was asking about the hooks. I was trying 3 different hooks. The first one I will put in front was a Mustad, and it was caddis curved. And so I kind of used that on some of the scuds before, and I tried that. This was a size 10. And then was it the Daiichi? This one actually says Klinkhammer hook, and this was a finer wire, which then didn't bring it down too much. But the one that I ended up using, that I went to Hargrove's, and Craig and I saw this, and so this was a competition one, barbless, which we all like, and then it was even some world-renowned champions said it was good. So you also got the average angler Mick saying he liked that one best too, and that's the one you actually see in the vise. So to kind of show you the differences, here was the Daiichi, which was my second favorite. I'll try to, it just didn't have the opening, the gap that I actually like with the new one. Again, it's this was the one that's in the vise. I just like the bigger gap opening. It gave more of a curve, and it really turned out really good. So you can kind of see the Daiichi to that. And this was the first time I've ever seen this fastener type, and so that's what I decided to go with that. So that's what I'll be using. It's a size 12. Again, I got this at Hargrove's, and it was $8.50 for a pack of 30 of them. So I will tie this as I was tying the competition ones I did. So for the hot spot, I used this nylon pink, and I'm just gonna put a little start on it, and I'll show you where I kind of put that down first and then hide it down. Let's trim that off. I just kind of wrapped it down, making sure you guys can see that. Then I just kind of wrapped it a couple times at the base, get a nice little spot, and then I brought it back up. Sorry to block you, but this stuff likes to run on me if I don't tie it in. With mine, I do a lot of saves, so I do a lot of quick half hitches, but then with this, I've been cutting a lot of it as well. To free it up. The next I used was black uni thread, 6/0, and I was using this, if I could bring that back up, is the ribbing for the body. And so I'll show you how I did that. Again, I just added that. Now the crazy part that I had, because I tied so many of these, I tried to limit how much of the black thread I allowed on the body, because it was really hard to cover it up with the light cahill. So I just kind of tried to get it down as quick as I could, a couple wraps, and then I brought it around and then hung it on my vise. That way it was out of the way. And then I could start with the light cahill, which again was the uni thread 6/0. And I use this for the body part. So this will take most of my time just trying to build up a nice little body with it. I meant to kind of, while I'm talking and trying to do this all at the same time, the body with the Klinkhammers, you could use a lot of different materials. Peacock Curl works really good. It gives that green buggy look. I even have some of the plastic quills, and this one actually has a metallic to it, where I'll pull one of these off that you could see. I tried that. Where you just pull one off and it's tapered. You could actually do the body in that. It's got a nice little appearance to that. So you could do that as well. So that was the fun thing with this fly, is the body you could use dubbing if you want. I even have thread. This was a yarn. This was when I set out to do a little bit thicker body on this. I was using this, which almost like a yarn thread, but that built up a little bit too quick. And then even if you wanted, there's a real pretty shiny thread that are nice attractors, some tinsel, and some of that too, give it a buggy look if you want. So you could use thread, you could use peacock curl, even hair if you wanted, works out pretty good as well. So I'll get back to trying to build this body up. But yeah, that's been the neat thing with this, is experimenting, looking online, and you could see there are just so many different variations out there, you know, with the hackles and materials. As you even see the hook, there were several different styles of hook I could have used. Try to flatten that thread out a little bit. It's too much. I'm just going to try to build again the body up. This is the boring part. So just bear with me. Okay, I'll call that about good there. So again, I will half hitch this to lock it in. I will cut that off. Now I will go back to my black thread. And this is where I will do the spiral couple near the hot spot, and then I will start bringing it up. I'll give it that segmented look. And then that kind of looks good. Now I'm just going to fill in the eye just a little bit. And just give myself a little area for my post. Okay, so that's the body of it. Hopefully you could see that with the segmentation. Now for the post. There's several materials you could use. You could buy the pair of posts. This is some orange. A lot of you have heard me also talk about Bonnie cord. So here's Bonnie cord 4 mil. I have it in white and orange. I have enough for a lifetime for you and me. So if you ever want some, shoot me an email and I'll be more than happy to throw some in an envelope and send some out. I've already done it for Chris. I use it for my posts, and I've been now using the same Bonnie cord for my yarn indicators as well. I've tried that out. I like how that works. So, so you could use it for different areas. What I end up doing is I take the Bonnie cord, and as you see, I just cut them in little strips. That's what I'll do. And then if you just kind of need the very ends, you could actually start picking off the fibers and you'd actually start stripping them out. And that way you could kind of use the size you need. I'll do that for the white. You could use straight, you know, orange or white, whatever color you like. I kind of like mixing it. So again, I'll just take one of each.
Mick, what size thread are you, or Bonnie cord are you using there?
It's
That's the 4?
4 millimeter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it also comes in 6, which would give you just a little bit larger diameter post.
Yep. And you know, with that, you could, you know, if you want a little bit more, or like you said, I'm going to try to show this up on top. You know, I just put the 2, these are single strands out of that. And I start just kind of breaking them apart and pulling them. That way I try to get a nice little mix. So the orange and white, depending on if you got bright daylight or if it's getting a little bit darker, you get the.
Amy's proud of you on that.
Yeah, I know. See, I listen. So I kind of shred it up a little bit so it's a nice little mix. And then I'm going to turn this so I could see it. Now I'm going to plop this on top. Hopefully you could see it. I'm just going to take 2 light wraps over it, just kind of, and then I'll tug it in. And then I'll do a couple wraps to hold it in. At this point, you could, if you wanted, I kind of spin it. And then if you wanted, you could then, it's kind of hard to go around, but you can kind of start looping it that way.
Hey, Mick, can I interrupt you for just a second?
Sure.
So how you just tied that in right there, one of the
Yep.
things that I've really found is instead, if you actually turn that and make a loop with your Bonnie cord or
And
any
go
material,
underneath.
well, you're going to take your cording and make a loop and then tie in your loop, and you're not dealing with those loose ends. You've got a clean, let me see if I can switch my camera.
Yeah, for the recording, I pinned us both, so we're both up there so we could see it.
So, and mostly because you've been tying for a little bit, and I know it works for you on that, but if people struggle with their posts, so instead of trying to deal with manage this amount of material, but if you actually loop it and make a loop in like this, and then come and one to lock it in and one in front, and then you've got your post started, but this is a little bit more manageable on that end. And so it's just a different way of doing the post as well. So he did exactly the same, but it also helps as far as grabbing that and then running up your post to give it that strength because you're going around it. And it actually holds in place. So it's just, but that was a great tip, like how you fold it in and anchor it first and then pull it all up like a, like a tail, and then go up it around it.
Yep, and it looks like those little troll dolls too.
Yep, it does.
It's a little hair. I was like, that's what it looks like.
It is a troll right now, but that looks great. So, all
Yep.
right, back to you. You can unpin me.
Okay, remove the pen. Okay, so this is, I'm going to show if you're struggling with trying to get the post up. Here's a trick that I saw, and I'll show you guys this. Blue bottles that have where you could go to a direct spot, you know, it's got a little needle like that. You could buy these. I actually just got my latest one from Feathercraft. So they'll look like this if you buy it. But what I've done is then take a black Sharpie to it, and then you could put your UV stuff in there as well, the thin. So I'm going to show you a little trick that I saw, and this has kind of helped me a little bit of times with, since my arm and I don't have full range of it yet. You can give it your Bonnie cord a little spin like that. And then with this applicator, just put a little bit of the UV glue on. Make sure it's in there just up as far as I'd want to put the hackle. Now I'm going to save your eyes while I kind of just cure this real quick. So now you kind of see where it's folded. Oops, you can't see that. That's, you can see a little bit now. You see, it kind of has a little post to it now, but it's a little bit hard to see. So what I do now is, yeah, I do have all that. This is where I'll come in, at least trim it to be a little bit more manageable long time. So I got the post. It's pretty secure now. And like I said on one of my flies, it still looks pretty good, but somewhere in there, yeah, this is it where we're almost there. I forgot the dubbing. I'm not going to forget it this time. So dubbing, kind of like the buggy stuff. So here is some ice black, and I've got some of the peacock as well. I will do the peacock. Again, you just need just a little bit, goes a far way with these. We're just going to make a small noodle on this. Let's push it up. Now I'm just going to kind of wrap around near the post, kind of come back around. Oops, I see I got some of my bonding cord in that. So I'm going to call that good right there, and I'll have to trim that off a little bit later. But now I will kind of come across a post a couple times and then hang it. And then this is where I will put it on its vertical so I could put the hackle in. So again, now I will put a couple more wraps up the post, and I'll keep it there. The hackle, got some, is it Bretz? Some of this is #2 Saddle Brown Natural. I've been using this for a while. This is probably one of my first big purchases from Feather Craft. And so I'm making sure that works for a while. Any of the Silver Grizzly turns out really good as well. I'm using Klinkhammer. So whatever you prefer, it's all fun. Get some different colors in there. And I've actually just remember now some people will actually take 2 different colors and wrap it. I haven't done that, but I'm sure I'll do it hopefully soon, because now that I was like, oh yeah, we could have done that. So again, I have just kind of cleared off a little stem, and I will tie this in. And we'll do a couple half hitches. And that locks it in. Now this is where some people freak out when I do this, but I'm cutting my thread. I'm now done with thread for the moment. Again, this is a little, oops, somebody's calling in. Beverly. Okay, so if you're first tying clinks, it is kind of hard with trying to use your whip finisher and grabbing the hackle. If you want to build your confidence, this is an easy way to do it as well.
I'll see what you're doing anyway. See how you feeling. Feeling all right?
I'll see if I need to. Okay, so I will just put a little bit on the post. And now I will start my wraps. Just doing touching wraps. Once I get to the base, I kind of flip it over And then what I'll do is I'll take the glue again and I'll look at where I want to end to wrap that. And just put a little dab there. And then hopefully I don't blind you. I will do here. So now if you look, it's really not going anywhere. It's pretty secure. And again, if you want we have a new participant that want to do this, but they have a hard time with the whip finish. That's how you could end up with that. So there it is. That's the exact style that I could probably trim the top off a little bit. I'll leave it up there just for fun. Because you could, if you wanted, you could come in and fluff up some of the dub, but that is how I tied for what I will be turning in hopefully this week for the fly tie competition. Any questions?
How strong, since you use the glue instead of tying it off, how strong or how long will it last on the rig?
It lasts, it seems like they last the same. Now, the Klinkhammer was good for a couple of fish. The best time I had with this is when last winter when I was at Bush Wildlife. I made them in complete white. For some reason, they love the white at that lake, and I tied them off and I used the glue, and they lasted about the same, probably around 4 to 5 fish, and then just the teeth of the trout would tear them up. And so it works about the same. You know, you're not using as much thread, but you are using glue. So weight difference seemed to be about the same. And then again, I would come in with watershed and just do the hackle and the body cord top, and it would float pretty much for as long as I needed it to go. I don't have black, or it'd be kind of, I could even, it's kind of neat. Let me see, I don't want to blind you guys, but even the pink hot spot really shines with the black light. So when it hits UV, that hot spot glows. Might be a little right now, you can kind of see it, but I have had fun with it, so kind of went through it too quick, maybe.
No,
Question.
it was great.
Yeah, nice
Mick.
tie-in.
And I think one of the things too, as far as with, you know, kind of tying into the entomology side of this. So the top part of it with where the hackle and all that, you know, you're kind of sitting on the film, the hook's underneath the water portion of it. This is one where it works well with still water. So it would come in, you can actually go oversized on your hackle coming out. It looks a little bit more leggy kind of once it hits the water on that. The post portion of it is again the trickier side, because if your post is too long on this, you're going to see where your tippet doesn't agree with the post size and the hook weight, and you're going to pull it up and all of a sudden it looks like somebody just crumpled up your tippet. So one of the things also is start with it a little bit longer, cast it a few times, see how it lays on the water, see what happens. But if you have scissors on your vest or on your pouch, you can take your post down. It's like a haircut. You can never go back. So you would actually start on the longer side of it, adjust it as you cast. But this should land gently on the water and break through as far as on the film, but it should float. The indicator is for your purpose as far as being able to track and see that. So again, using some of the brighter colors, it's not about the fish liking this. But it does work well as far as getting a rise, but not quite on a dry fly. And also, this is a big winner on a little bit more moving water as well, coming right through some riffles, and then also with kind of foam. So it's a good go-to on this one. It's not the buoyancy, it does not adapt well to a hopper dropper situation on this, but this might be your trailing. If you did double flies, do a larger hopper and have this as your trailing, just because of the way it affects on the water. But it's a fun one. And I would encourage anybody else who uses these, or, you know, jump in with your comments or successes or things not to do. But I will tell you that the post size has a lot to do with it. It's
Yep.
like wing size. So anybody have any questions, comments, anything? Everybody's muted.
Everyone's muted. We could talk now.
I know.
It's like,
Okay.
I've got that uncomfortable silence sitting on the stage. Someone come save me. But no, this worked well for me last November, December at Bush Wildlife, where a couple times I was sitting there shaking my head where it was like, yes, do the hopper dropper when I'd see my indicator get nailed. So I went to an all white camera because I was using a white indicator. And then one day I'm like, that's all I'm gonna use. Just go out, have fun. It's not the amount of fish you catch, but try something different. And I still had ended up a good day there. I think I had 5 over a couple hours. It wasn't as fast, but it was just kind of fun to go out there and try something different. And it's kind of fun to see the fish coming up to it too. It's like, ooh, 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 here it comes, you know. So it's,
I bet that'd be a good crappie or panfish lure too,
oh,
wouldn't it?
I'm sure.
I've had a lot of success with that. And again, when you oversize on your hackle piece, and so it actually spins off of it a lot more. And so it's not really doing anything except it's actually sitting in the film. And it gives it a little bit more buoyancy. I like it with the way it sits. So here I left the loop a little bit long. Of course, I wouldn't even put it in, you know, just cut my loop and then I can come back and adjust. And you should start with about the hook shank length is what I've kind of figured as far as my preference on that. But you can put it all the way down to a nub. And what I like with using the brighter, because as it gets even more waterlogged, and if it is going underwater, then you can still have something to sight. And so it is with the post, again, it's for the fishermen, but it also helps with the aerodynamics of it, of course. And I know with the hook portion of it, what to pick, and you start talking about different ones, it is something where trying to figure out with the gap, which Mick talked about at the beginning part, that has that big, nice gap, because all of this from the body underneath is all underwater. This part's what's sitting in the top. And when we talk about film, it's, you know, just that invisible layer. And so this is sitting on the top, the hook portion's underneath, but that larger gap, better success as far as just getting that strike and getting it to hit. 2 of the different ones I like. You can also, this one actually says a clink on it, but it has more of that curve to it. Or I actually like this one where it comes out and it's a little bit more straight on the top. And so I've got a little bit more body to work with on a hook shank. You can kind of dress it up a little bit on there. And, you know, so they're just fun to tie. They've got more steps in it. I actually added in the quill as Mick was talking. I did the hot spot and the quill, added in the peacock, which is about my least favorite material to add. I would prefer to use dubbing all day long. But anyway, it's just kind of a fun one. It is very effective, especially this time of year when it starts getting so hot for just bluegill and just panfish. I used this when I was just in Ohio, so those coming on late. And I don't know, after about 15, 20 of the shiners, and then I switched over to a caddis, which of course is my other go-to. But I like this style. I like how it performs in the water. That's all I got. Everybody, again, that awkward silence. We're loving
Yeah,
it.
it's like,
Nobody's saying nothing.
yeah, you could even use for the body. I've seen a turkey bite where it kind of gave a neat spiral to it.
Oh yeah.
Really neat.
Yeah.
That was super cool. I just didn't have any of that. But the fun thing is, this is a very creative fly that you could do and change it up. You know, I was putting hot spots on other flies. I haven't seen someone else do it, but I'm not saying that I invented it for sure. I'm sure someone else has done it, but I figured to have a little hot spot hanging in just below the water would kind of work too. And again, as I said, I'm using what you saw today as what I'm turning in for the fly competition, and just kind of add a hot spot, and then it just kind of adds to the complexity of the fly. So that's why I thought I would do that.
I know we've done posts before on some different things too. And I think some of the times as far as the post and the transition over for a smooth body and not getting a big lump, or how do you cut the post and make it where it lays in there too. So Mick showed as far as with the tie-in and coming in more at, this angle and working from it. And if you're laying out a bunch of parapost and have it out and folks are picking it up and they're going to take the whole strip, right? Because we just think that's how much we need. But it is something where, taking it in this way and just how we anchored it in, building your post up that other direction. Also that little loop, and it's kind of like tying your shoes. But what I like with this is coming in and anchoring it. And because again, with that transition part of it, if you have a big hump off the back of it, it's hard to get that smooth lie and make it actually look kind of as buggy as we want. So tying in and then also coming back, and you're building this then into the body of it. And then you can transition with your thread. And so it has the ramp is a little bit more controllable, but it's what you get used to doing also as far as like how you want to build. And so I would continue kind of with the thread, go ahead and add in your colors, do whatever you want to on there, and then come back up and then work my post. So it really depends on kind of what you get used to. And again, watching Mick's style of it, it purely works for him. And I was there when he caught some of those fish. So I can say it worked for him during the winter. We'll see. The challenge is on again. November's coming. So we'll see.
For
We'll see
sure.
if it works again. But it is something. And I think also as far as dexterity wise, sometimes it's tough to move your hook in your vise. So there's just a couple different like teaching techniques is just hold that up and come around, go around again, cinch it towards yourself, come around, cinch it towards, and then work yourself back down. And then you have also a good stable post that you're building with. It is something where UV glue works to hold it, give it a little bit more anchor in there. Using straight glue from here, you're gonna, go ahead and do the little magnet trick with the, where you put a little dot of glue on a magnet, and that way you have some pliable to work it and work it in with a bobbin. If you're at home, do whatever you want, but if you're teaching other folks, maybe. So I've talked about that before. The little magnetic packs that we get inside hooks. And John Wright didn't believe me in the inquiring mind, so he actually had to test my thing because he doubted. I don't know what. So if you take a little dab of super glue, you put it on a magnet, it'll actually stay in a pliable working state for a good 2 hours. It is something where be aware on your tying surface of where that little pad is. But any sort of magnet, you get them on the back of the little things from the doctor's office, their little business cards and all kinds of stuff. So start hanging on to these magnets, because you just put a dab on here and then you would work it in, take your bobbin, put it in for your glue, and then you can set that aside. As opposed to taking this whole big thing, and we've all done glue before, where you go like this and you think you only have one drop, and next thing the whole thing comes out. Super glue is evil in that part of it. It's terrible to try to get it out of your vise. You might as well.
Amy,
Yeah.
I've even written to Loctite, and I've asked them to explain to me, please, why that works. And they haven't responded to me. I don't understand.
So the way it was explained to me is that super glue and the properties of super glue need two porous materials to make it fit. So if you put it on a magnet, the magnet's not porous, and then it's open to air, so it can't set up. That was the way it was explained to me. But when you hear back from Loctite, please pass that on, because
that's what my research said
for
too.
me.
Yeah,
Yep.
my research said that it has to have two surfaces.
Yep.
That it can fit between or be tightened to. In fact, if you remember the original commercials for super glue, the guy had with the
Oh,
hammer,
yeah.
pick it up.
Hang it with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep. So, and I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that it wouldn't work on any metal then, but something about the components in a magnet, that really is, and especially when, you know, we're meeting back in person and you're passing materials back and forth and everything. And, you know, the other thing is that if you're trying to fly with super glue, TS8 loves to open this. I don't know what the deal is. They love to open it and they never lock the lid on tight back again. So I've had them ruin a whole thing of thread. It's just something where if you can get away with not using it, or of course the UV glue is a great option on there, and UV glue is UV glue. The light's what makes the difference in my experience. Is just, you know, you can use anything from the Bondex stuff that's pretty inexpensive, but your UV, oops, I'm holding on the wrong camera, but the, you know, UV light is what purely makes it work for you. And I know that's been a day saver on some too. And so again, this is kind of the one I use. It does have a light. What I like is this tube is very specific. So I can come in and the light goes after a certain period of time. So I have a good one and it's rechargeable. So it's cost effective on that side of it. If not, this has like a little tiny light. You actually have to really work it. Or I bring out the Mega on the light. And again, this is rechargeable. So it makes a big difference as far as I literally can plug it in and then I've got my UV light back again. But the UV is, it's fun to play with. Yep. First time I took it to the hospital though. Yeah. Trying to warn people of not shining it in their eyes. And the first thing, it's like kids and they all shine it in their eyes. I'm not bringing back the UV. So again, having some options is good. Anybody else on here? Anybody else?
Yeah, I was just going to give a quick shout out, but Jim's not in. I bought one of those caddies he told me about.
Oh, good.
Was nice while I was trying to like tie, and it's like, oh damn, where'd that go? I made sure I put everything back in the caddy while I was going. I'm like, cool, I made it easy where I wasn't like where it was. So I know we had that meeting a couple months ago, but I finally was like, oh yeah. So I ordered it on Amazon. So that was a big help too.
So you guys can all groan, but Jim is actually up portaging through the boundary waters right now.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, Jim. So that's where he would be, but we'll get him back in. But we have a good showing. So Mike Swanson's in. I know he's not on the camera right now. So those guys are actually meeting in person right now, and they had us playing in the background, which is kind of cool. There they are.
Nice.
they're in Leavenworth, Kansas, and yep,
Amy, I didn't get anybody to sign on through the teams. Roy and Mike Rivera, who generally pop in, are doing our things, but Paul's here. So we thought we'd have you guys in the background and we tie flies.
And that's awesome. Yeah, you guys were tying hoppers tonight too, right?
Actually, Paul won't tie midges, so we're tying midges.
Okay. That works too.
That works.
Glad to have you guys.
One thing I've been working on, I noticed you do it, Amy, in terms of keeping track of stuff, particularly the scissors, is to get used to carrying them in your hand,
Wearing them
in between stuff. And when you go look for it, it's right there.
I'm not there yet. I've tried. I'm not there yet.
I'll have to use the other hand. You can't, you can't just flip it in one hand, but at least you're not having to push stuff around in your desktop trying to see what they're underneath. It's right there in the palm of your hand. And depending upon the scissors you have, I mean, they got to be big enough loops to where they slide on your fingers easy, but it is a very simple technique, but it takes some getting used to. Every once in a while, I'll look at my hand and I go, oh, they're not there. Where the heck did I put them?
Yeah. And what I end up, so mine, I'm right hand dominant. And so what I do is I do keep them on my right hand and I do tie, and I'm able to flip them back and forth and keep them on here all the time. So as I'm tying and I don't set them down actually. And I had to learn how to do that because I was constantly setting down, but I also, one of the things that I found as far as this is actually it's comfort. It's not about speed for me. It's actually very comfortable to do because they're not in the way. Now, what I will tell you is well, you guys don't have long hair, but don't brush your hair out. Jara's on. Never mind, Jara does. But don't brush the hair out of your eyes. Don't adjust your glasses. Watch where your scissors are in your hands because you are dealing with a point. If you go up here just to scratch your head, you're going to get a little stick in the head. But the other thing too is keeping on the organized side. And these are at Harbor Freight. You guys know these from just tools in general, right? Mine's a mess. But one of the things it has like random, so it's the magnetic base, just these little bowls. And I would say that these are outstanding to keep track of as far as tools. They also have some of just the smallest, little scissors and things like that don't fit well in anything. They don't fit in a little caddy. They don't fit anywhere. I mean, you can pinch them and they go, just needle. They're tweezer scissors, I think. Love them, absolutely love them. But it keeps everything kind of more on the organized side. And then my desk actually has holes drilled in it, so you guys have seen that. Some of the movie star tires do that too. So it depends on what your workspace looks like. But the caddies are great. And again, just especially for travel and with your RV, Mick, that's going to be awesome to be able to just have it in a confined little space and be able to work with that too.
Yeah, I'm building something for my RV where it'll have a vise, and I'm buying extras of everything. That way I could just, I don't have to keep on.
That just sounds like an excuse to shop.
Yep, that's why Tom said you and Jim need to come by and say hello. He said he hasn't seen you two in a while, so that was from Tom.
Yeah, I haven't been up there in a little bit, but yeah, I do need to get up there. That's a good excuse for me to go up there. Every time I go in there, I spend a lot of money, so that's why I've tried to discipline myself. That's what I try to discipline myself. Love it. I get in there and it's like, well, one of these, one of those, and you guys have seen my whole wall of hooks. I lasted through the whole pandemic. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I have a little store here, but all right. Anybody have anything? Questions, comments, more tips?
One more thing.
Tools?
So those of you who are still trying to find on YouTube, I'm just showing you where it is. If you go YouTube and you put fly fishing with Mick, you're not going to see, you might see that guy, you might see that, but mine is just that little square right there. You just click on that. That way we're kind of private where our videos are out there. I think there's 3 subscribers now, which it's John, myself, and my wife. Want to see the videos? That's where it is. Just click on F and then you will see our videos. That way, I'm not showboating where we're at, like the others there, but it will come up if you want to review any of these videos that we've been doing.
Yeah,
that's right. It was perfect, Mick.
Is it on Facebook?
I am on Facebook, but this is YouTube because with Facebook, it's YouTube kind of track the videos where YouTube could subscribe to that channel and then you could see all our videos. I still have, I have to put up 2, I think. Been kind of busy and been slacking, so I will start getting that up to date. But I am on Facebook. If you're looking for me, it's Mick Bretz.
Yeah, it looks like there's 21 of them up there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I've been putting them.
Are you the one with the F?
Yes.
Yep.
That's me.
The green F.
Yep. The green F.
So I just
that way you can find it, and we're not advertising so much where we'll keep it in a small group. If I put some fancy picture in there, then we'll have,
And if you want to learn how to if you really are interested in the true way to fly fish, you can go out to YouTube and look up Klinkhammer, Nebraska. That guy is doing some really nice stuff with Klinkhammer rods. And no, I'm not ashamed.
Hey, Mick, what was that thing that you were telling us about that you were showing at the, right before this? Some tool or something, or?
Oh,
The caddy.
the little caddy. When we had our little show and tell, Jim Saraceno showed this. It's actually like a foam block. I'm actually twisting it a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Every time there's little holes and, bigger areas. And I know some of the square glue and paint bottles fit in there. And when I'm trying to do these videos, I start, thinking about, okay, background and this, and I start losing tools. And then I'm like, where'd I put that? So I got this on Amazon. I think it was $20. What reminded me when I did kind of go to Hargrove's, he had just the block for, I think it was 40 for twice amount. And then I didn't hook it up yet, but there's actually another little foam piece that goes to the base of your, or the post of your vise. And you could actually keep stuff right there with it as well. So
There's
Good.
this little, like you said, it's a little like a tube that has all your little holes to put your stuff in, and it hooks on the end of your vise.
yeah, and
It's on Amazon.
I just got to it. Doorbell rang about 5:30, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, let's see if this works." And so I was scrambling to get what I needed in there, and it worked pretty well. I'll probably end up buying another. Well, I do have a small table that I'm putting in my RV, but it has little holes like that. I really like it.
I bet that would work on my kayak, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I could.
Oh,
Gosh, if
that
you
way,
had to
when
tie-
I get tired of fishing, I can tie some flies in my kayak. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
fun.
that would be fun. Because I
Is
figure
it-
Now you
camping.
wouldn't use too much marabou.
I was gonna say, wait a minute. I thought you take care of rod fishers. Don't you just tie all that? You don't even need a vise or anything, do you?
No, we do it all by hand. Yeah,
Yeah, you just
Just a
do it all by
bare,
hand.
just a bare
You don't need
hook,
it.
right?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, in fact, we don't even buy thread anymore. We weave our own.
Use hair. Oh wait.
Yeah. No, I don't have enough of that.
Yeah, it's like, oh no. I actually use the stuff for my chin.
Yeah, me too.
Oh man, John, we just love picking on you.
Amy,
Funny.
guys, any idea where the video from your last session when you tied the Zertle bug?
That's gonna go on next.
Is it?
That was last week's and I did not get that up. So that will be put up. I will sit this evening and put those in.
That'll be on Fly Fishing with Mick.
Yep.
Okay.
Those.
So
I'll
you got a grand total of 5 subscribers out there right now. I just found it on
All
YouTube. So
right.
Come on, you
Yeah.
guys. We're gonna run this whole marathon. Mick needs 10. Mick needs 10.
Yep.
He can't eat dinner until he's got 10 subscribers tonight.
Yep. I'll be one of those influencers or something or whatever. It's like, I
Well,
got a million people.
well, Amy
Changing the world,
knows.
Mick.
Amy and maybe a couple of you guys know that I live up here in East Tennessee, right on the state line with Tennessee and Virginia on the Clinch River. Well, not right on the Clinch River. I'm walking distance to it, but the river is so low that there's been for the past month and a half to 2 months, almost 3 now. God, this is end of August. There's been no boaters, no tubers, no kayakers, nobody on the upper reaches of the river because it's been so low. So I've had the river, I've got the trout rivers down in near Elizabeth and Johnson City, etc. But the smallies, smallies and walleyes and a few of the other fish, the game fish, they're all pooled up because the water is so low. I mean, they're literally just pooled up in deep pools. They're not swimming out in the shallows except at night to hunt. And I've got the river to myself. The several miles of river just all to myself. No boaters, no nobody. So
Where's this at?
in East Tennessee at Hancock County.
Hey,
Don't
did you
give
know
them
the
two.
Union won?
Say again?
Do you know that the Union won?
Okay. Do you know, I don't really care. I've got the river to myself. That's what I care about.
Okay.
You know, no recreational boaters, no inner tubers screwing up my fly fishing, and it's almost like shooting fish in a barrel because the smallies are just all pooled up because the river's so low, and they've still got to eat. So,
Hey, Jara,
Yeah.
what town are you near? I'm gonna type this in.
north of Kingsport, Tennessee.
Jara,
Yeah.
be careful with these guys. Don't.
Hey, Jared and I had a really nice.
They're gonna
conversation.
start asking you specifics, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, I'm just teasing.
How far from Cleveland are you?
I'm quite away from that. Ohio, quite a ways.
No, Cleveland, Tennessee, up by
Oh no, I'm not sure. Probably 3 hours. We're, where I live, we're 3 hours away from everything.
I was gonna say that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, here in Nebraska, we've had so much rain, and we're just a little below normal, but the Missouri River is flowing a little bit above normal out here. So everything is full and doing really, really well, except for the big lakes out west.
Yeah. Well, send some of that down here because I live on a farm. I don't have any critters or anything, but it's an old farm built in 1908. Now the only critters I've got is deer, turkey, bear, and occasional bobcat that keeps the neighbor's cats herd under control, and yotes. But the water's been so low that my mountain, I live on the Clinch Mountain, and we use spring water here. And the aquifer inside the mountain is sunk way, way, way down. So it's just barely a trickle coming into both of my spring boxes, and it's kind of fretful for after a while. So we need some rain.
And then a couple 100 miles more to your west, and look what they just got over the week. So Nashville just got hammered with that, and so our thoughts are with those guys.
Yeah, the guys up in New England are just getting hammered too. My old stomping ground, my hometown, got 6 inches of rain.
Yep. It's like feast or famine for some. I was when I was in Ohio over the weekend, and I asked about their water, and they had the effects of Fred, I guess, that when that came through, and they said, yeah, that's actually pretty good, but no, we've seen it a lot higher recently, and it just comes through, and it's not even productive rain when it comes in that hard. Today we got, it was a little bit over an inch within an hour, but I can't imagine with Nashville 17 inches. Just insane, and the pictures are horrible. So again, our thoughts are with those guys, and luckily we didn't have anybody on or out at that hour of the day and on the water. But wow, that's just not, and send all that out to the west also to keep those forest fires under control. It's crazy
Right.
time. So, all right, well, it's dinner time. Believe it or not, I'm not having bacon, lettuce, and tomato tonight. Just in case you guys were wondering, since I've had that like 3 Monday nights in a row, because it is summertime and I love that. No, tonight's hot wings. Woo! So,
Nice.
I know that's one of my other favorites too. So
Did you say baconless tomato?
no, bacon, lettuce, and tomato.
Oh, okay.
I
I thought you said bacon less. I was about to call you a communist.
That's what
Yeah.
it sounds like. Yeah.
bacon, lettuce. I was told by somebody in West Virginia that I talk too fast, so I'm working on it.
Well, the rest
but
of
anyway.
Like a Yankee.
the rest of the planet calls them BLTs. I don't know what it is over there.
Well, I normally say BLTs, but
Yeah.
anyway, and I've had those the last couple Monday nights. I'm like, I gotta go. It's bacon night. Yeah, mine is like 3 times the amount of bacon, 1 slice of tomato, lettuce, and I'm a Miracle Whip person in case anybody wants to ask that question. I have no shame in that. Don't even try to pass that mayonnaise stuff my way.
Guys, I'm gonna get off. Mick, good seeing you.
Good seeing you, Mike.
Nice seeing you guys
Miss you
too.
guys.
All right. We will, same time, same bat channel next week.
Thank you, guys.
Good job.
All right,
Thanks,
take
Mick.
care, everyone.
Appreciate it. Nice job.
Jim,
guys
thank
soon.
you very
I'll get
much.
the videos up.
Jim, thanks for the
Okay.
hit on fishing in Colorado.
Yes,
It was great.
good deal.
Hey, Mick, what kind of surgery do you have?
I ended up, Margie wanted to go shopping. I wanted to go fishing. So she said arm wrestle. So I arm wrestled her and I see it right there. I tore
No,
the,
I knew about your hurting your arm, but I thought you had something. You said you had some surgery recently.
oh no, this is what I had. And I'm still just kind of
Oh, okay.
back
His
where,
mom had surgery.
yeah, to go help my mom where she ended up falling.
Well, I remember that. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
you went down to Florida.
Yeah, and so then while I was taking care of her, my brother then had knee surgery. We're all falling apart, and that's not.
Oh, wow.
We're not hypochondriacs. We don't get hurt, and all of a sudden we had boom, boom, boom. We all had 3 accidents that required surgery. So
Wow.
go figure. So yeah,
Well, thanks again for you and Margie putting this on, and
yeah. Here's my man
hopefully-
cave. She's playing with my F-16 in the corner. That was the plane that I crewed during Desert Storm.
Oh, nice.
It's 8 feet long on the wall. So this is my man.
Oh, my.
So yeah, when
That's pretty neat. Who did that?
there's a pilot that has his own startup business where he does model decals, and he started doing those too, where they got those fatheads where he could make them 4 foot, 6 foot, or 8 foot. And I'm like, give me one of the 8 footers. And then
That's a decal?
yeah, that's a decal that's on the wall. That's 8 foot from
Oh, wow.
Margie. Why don't you go back there just for scale? You'll see
I'm 5'8".
she's 5'8", and my name's on it and everything. So
Wow, that is big.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got the big rappella above her head right there. That's a
Oh, yeah, I see that.
lure that
It holds-
That's for the
holds a record.
big fish, right?
yeah, that's for the big muskies or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, as a pilot who has his own side business that does that. And then I know I've got it somewhere on my desk over there. He does decals for our for airplane models. And he created them for our squadron from Desert Storm. So
Oh, how nice.
I wish I was good at that where I'd build it. And then he's actually got my name to put on the canopy. So it's got
Oh,
a,
cool.
And he got this for his birthday.
yeah.
Oh, nice. From the same guy?
No, this
This
is
is from my daughter.
and so I keep my special flies in there. So
Ooh.
yeah.
I
Like the
know.
first fly I ever tied that I can't even use, which is this top one right there. I crowded the eye so much, there is no way I could even find the eye.
You can
The
use your lighter and you can burn your way into the hole.
Exactly. And then this one I caught a trout. I tied this with a rod I built, so it was my rod, my fly.
Yeah.
That, and then the other smaller one was Amy hooked me while we were fishing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
couldn't get it out. So we just left it there. And then once, I got home, I got it out and I was like, all right, it'll go in the box.
Hey, have you ever heard of the trout bust?
Trout busters?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about, I'd like to go, but isn't it like the last weekend of September?
It is. Let me look at, no. It is well, that's August.
Yes.
It is the second weekend. It's the 10th through the 12th.
Okay, because, oh, wait, that was our original.
our original.
Okay, because I knew we had issues, but now I might be able to make that where I might come up for the day. Next month, work is going to get real busy. So I'm not sure if I could take off like Thursday and Friday. But I know that's at is it like Pinecrest or some.
Yeah.
So we already had camping scheduled for Bennett that week. We were going to be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Bennett. But then once I saw we were going to get busy, I had to cancel that. So now I'm actually thinking, because for some reason I thought they scheduled that on the last weekend of September, which is always Ladies' Day fishing at Bennett. So, you know, for Amy and Margie, we're going to go do that. But
Yeah.
because I think Les shows up as well, or I've heard he goes there. I've seen
Les usually barbecues.
Oh, cool. So
Yeah, somebody's got a big old super duper smoker.
Oh,
and
really?
And Les winds up grilling / smoking them all night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I will try, you know, because that's not a far trip. And I know the campground's right there. So we may try to show up, you know, we might come in Friday night or Thursday night if we don't have a whole lot going on.
Well, you ought to get a hold of Jim Wallace now. Jim Wall, I'll send you that.
Okay.
Let me see if I have your information in here. Let's see, I've got 773-666-3242.
Yep, that's my phone.
Okay,
text.
well, I will send you Jim Wallace's information. So they have food and they have music, and it's $80, which, but I think that's per person.
Okay.
And I've already got reservations in Montauk. I gave up, but you got a camper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But these are some really good people. I've been doing this probably, they used to have it spring and winter. And they used to have it spring and fall. Now, so I've been doing this for 11 years, and out of that 11 years, I've probably been to 12 or 13.
Oh, wow.
When they were having them. But yeah, I think that you will like these people. I'm going to go down Thursday afternoon. So I got Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. And you just come and go, do what you want. You know, they'll call you. Historically, and you'll have to talk with Jim about this. Historically, they had a feed bag on Friday night, and then Saturday morning, Saturday night, and then Sunday morning. And you were on your own for lunches.
Yeah.
Those days. And hopefully the weather will cooperate a little bit.
Yeah.
But so what else? I don't know. Just get a hold of Jim, and Jim. I took Jim fishing about 2-3 weeks ago. And we went to
I'm going to stop the recording.